work session. What do I do with my phone? My timer.
Should be pretty tame. I hope so.
Guys ready?
Yep.
We got 7 o'clock. You guys all ready?
I'm ready.
Good evening. We're going to call the Ferrysburg City Council meeting Monday, February 21st, 7 p.m. Roll call, please.
Mayor Blease,
Here.
Councilmember O'Donnell,
Here.
Councilmember Carlson,
Here.
Councilmember Montgomery,
Here.
Councilmember Sias,
Here.
Councilmember Murdoch, Councilmember Kate.
Here. Please stand for the invocation by Councilmember Kate.
We pray. God of justice and mercy, thank you for the opportunity to serve the people of Ferrysburg. Help us to act with character and conviction, to listen with understanding and goodwill, and to speak with charity and restraint. Give us a spirit of service. Remind us that we are stewards of your authority. Guide us to be the leaders your people need. Help us to see the humanity and dignity of those who disagree with us, and to treat all persons, no matter how weak or poor, with the reverence your creation deserves. Renew us with the strength of your presence and the joy of helping to build a community worthy of its citizens. We ask all this as your sons and daughters, confident in your goodness and love. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Okay, number 5, public comments. This time on the agenda is for any citizen to write brief comments or questions to the city council. Time for public comments will be given when an agenda item is discussed. If you have a comment or question, please raise your hand to be recognized by the mayor. And after being recognized by the mayor, please give your name and address for the record and proceed with your comment or question. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Any public comment? Okay. Moving on. I do have one amendment to 7G. What I would like to do is include all city council members to that. And G is to take action if appropriate, permit Mayor Blease, Councilmember Kate, Councilmember Montgomery to use the city logo on the social media page. So we'll just make an amendment. Okay. Number 6, consideration for approval of consent agenda. A, approve the February 7th, 2022 City Council meeting minutes as printed. B, adopt a proclamation declaring April 29th, 2022 as Arbor Day in the city of Ferrysburg.
So moved. Support.
Motion, support. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Number 7, new business. Number 8, discussion to take action if appropriate to adopt ordinance 319, an ordinance to provide for the regulation and control of stormwater runoff and to establish stormwater standards. Craig, you want to give us an update? What's going on with this thing?
In the January meeting, City Council looked at the ordinance and asked to have the Planning Commission review it. At the meeting, February meeting of the Planning Commission, they did look at it, but they really did not offer any comments on it. So now it's back to City Council for either to approve or not approve.
Okay. You guys have any discussion on this?
Your Honor,
Yes.
having researched this stormwater ordinance, this is part of the stormwater phase 2 plan through the NDPES. I may not have the initials correct, but and I have looked and there are certain cities that are designated to have to pass this ordinance. The phase 2 is for smaller cities. Phase 1 was for the larger, medium-sized cities, and phase 2 is for the smaller cities. They have specific cities that have to adopt this ordinance. My concern is, under one of the comments that was presented to the Planning Commission, was that if we do repair work on our bike paths, we're gonna have to put in the drainage system to catch the stormwater runoff, which along with that, I would naturally assume that that would also include that if we do improvements in our streets of more than an acre, and we have some major infrastructure projects coming up, the Dogwood project, and putting stormwater drains in there, because that would be more than an acre, could considerably increase our cost. And I think that since we are, there's nothing that says that we have to. If you look at all of the paperwork, it recommends that we adopt this permit, and it says it should not repeal. It is not set to repeal any existing stormwater permits, and as long as we meet the we don't put out excessive pollutants under the exemptions put forth by the Stormwater Phase 2 final rule. We could consider, I think we could consider ourselves exempt from having to implement this rule. We can do it. I don't think it's necessary. I think the current wastewater treatment program that we have, which meets the state's Safe Water Act, should be good enough. It's been for many years, and I would move that we not approve this permit going forward. Just keep what we have in place.
Comments?
Well, is that a motion on the floor?
I'm gonna make a motion that we disapprove
That not to approve it?
not to approve this ordinance.
Okay. More further discussion.
Craig, in the email from Kara Decker, she's saying that we are not able to exempt ourselves.
That's correct. If there's a table my suggestion would be to table this until the next meeting, and we'll invite Kara to come and answer any questions that the city council may have. Yes.
State permits if we don't adopt it.
Then we'd be in violation of our MS4 permit, which needs to be adopted by April 1st. So we still got some time if we want to invite Kara to come and answer questions.
Well, let's see here. We have a motion support right now,
we'd
so
have
we
to
have to
vote on
vote on that one first. So, let's see here.
Mr. Mayor, it says right here in number 3 that cannot say no to this.
That the ordinance pertains to the MS4 permit. We don't have to adopt the MS4 permit. We can go back. I believe that we can stay with our current permitting system. So we might want to take a look at doing that.
Craig, do you know what repercussions the city would have if we choose not to adopt this?
We'd be in violation of our MS4 permit that was just issued back in October.
Okay. And what are the repercussions for violating that permit?
I'm not sure what the ramifications are.
Can we go back to our previous permit? Whatever the permit was?
Why don't we be best for Kara to answer these questions? She's an expert at it.
Okay. All right, then I will, I'll change my motion to, we table this until the, meeting where we can get some definitive answers on this.
Okay.
Point of order. Parliamentarian. Is that appropriate after a motion second?
I think we have to vote on that.
You would
first
have
one.
to agree to the amendment. If you don't agree to it, then we'll have a vote on the first motion on the table, on the floor.
So we can amend the motion.
The person that made the motion can amend his motion.
Okay. So Tim, you're gonna amend the motion then?
I
Just
will.
To table it?
I will amend to, because of the number of questions that are, make sure we are doing everything, straight and true. I'll make the motion that we table this until our next meeting when we can have someone answer the questions put forth by the council.
Rich, do you wanna second the table?
Do I need to? Support.
Cause he supported the first motion, okay. All right. We have a motion and support to table it. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion is tabled. Okay. 7B, discussion and take action if appropriate to approve a recommendation from the Harbor Transit Multimodal Transportation System, HTMMTS Board approve the 2022-2023 millage rate at .600 mils.
Your Honor, I make a motion that we can, this is the continuation of the previous mill, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. That we continue the .6000 mils for the multimodal transportation system, the Harbor Transit.
Motion support. Any further discussion? Jerry, you're on that committee. That's, looks correct to you? Renewal of .600 mils?
Yeah, I'm fairly new to it. I attended my first meeting last month, so
Okay.
yeah, they did go over this and good to me. And you know, I think that this is a great service to our city. You know, it is crucial to a lot of folks getting to work in the morning, and this is something that we support and a good program.
Okay. Any other further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passed. 7C, discussion, take action if appropriate, place on the March 7th City Council agenda. Consideration to adopt a proposed resolution regarding leasing a portion of the premises at 17520 Ridge Avenue, which resolutions shall remain on file with the city clerk for not less than 15 days prior to consideration by the city council, and that a summary of the minutes of the February 21st, 2022 meeting of the city council be published in the Grand Haven Tribune.
Your Honor, I'd like to approve the resolution to consider the leasing the portion of the premises 17520 Ridge Avenue with resolution to remain filed city clerk for not less than 15 days prior to consideration by city council, and summary of its minutes in the February 21, 2022 meeting of the city council be published in the Grand Haven Tribune.
Okay, motion and support. Further discussion?
Your Honor.
Yes.
I'd like to thank City Manager for inserting paragraph 11.3 to protect us against stolen items or things like that. So hopefully Harbor Transit will be able to lock everything up, and then we'll have free access to the room at night and everything else. That's been a great insertion in the contract.
Okay, any other further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. 7D, discussion, take action if appropriate to approve a bid from Roll and Rack LLC for $8,735 for a roll and rack hose management system. Looks like the fire chief had a request for this. Tim, do you know anything about this, baby?
Yes. It saves us a lot of work. If you've been out fighting a fire all night, and you got 1,000 feet of hose to re-roll. This is a great time saver and a back saver, and I think it would be beneficial to our department to have. So I'm going to make a motion that we approve the bid from Roll and Mark LLC for the $8,735 for the roll and rack hose management system.
Okay, motion support. Any further discussion?
Your Honor,
Yes.
Craig, does the budget support this?
So it does.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carried. 7E, discussion, take action if appropriate to approve a bid from RV Trees LLC for $9,000 for tree removals. Information was in your packet. Looks like we have some trees we need removed. Looks like there was 18 requests. We only got 3 bids back. Looks like the RV Trees was way low, which is good, I guess. Do you know, Craig, why their price was so low? Have we used them before?
No, we have not used RV. In the past, we've used Toll's Tree Service,
Yeah.
and the last 3 or 4 times that we went out for bid, they were the only one that bid on the project.
Yeah.
So we were pleased that we got 3 bids in response to our request. RV is the low bid. They are local out of Fruitport.
Yeah. Toads didn't send a bid in this time, though? Toads
No.
Tree Service? Yeah, because these guys are like half the price as the other 2 bids.
And the one bid in there, we looked at the last couple bids that came in, and we asked them for a price once before for something, and they were a little on the high side then too. So
Okay.
Public Works Supervisor has looked at the bids and he's recommending RV.
Okay.
I'm gonna make a motion that we accept the, approve the bid from RV Trees LLC for $9,000 for tree removals.
Okay, motion and support. Any further discussion?
I do have a question, Your Honor.
Okay.
I've looked at a couple of these trees and they look to be a little far off the road. Are these all within the city right of way?
Yes, they are. Some of them might be right on the line or, half the tree on the road right away, but they're basically the city responsibility.
Right of ways in some places.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. 7F, discussion, take action if appropriate to make a donation to the J. Patrick Twa Scholarship Fund held at the Grand Haven Area Community Foundation. Ms. Twa, would you like to come up to the podium?
Yes, thank you. I'm Bobby Twa, Patrick's widow. Anyway, we were members or residents, I should say, of the city of Ferrysburg for over 40 years. So some of you who may not know us, we were, kind of a, I don't know, a moving statue for many, many years in the city of Ferrysburg, a very, very close place in Patrick's heart. And just to kind of give you an overview of what this scholarship is, and just to kind of give you a little background as well, Patrick's passion was working with wood and creating and building and different things of that nature. And just as a little bit of a background of what had transpired within the last 6 months, can kind of give you an idea. We moved out of Ferrysburg into Spring Lake Township on August 2nd. On August 13th, he retired from his position at Habitat for Humanity as construction manager. And on the 17th, he had shoulder surgery, and then he got sick and passed on December 21, 2021. And one of the things that my sons and I wanted to discuss was, how to create a legacy for Patrick. He made rocking chairs for his granddaughters and promise boxes and flag boxes for the veterans in our family. My dad, his grandpa, and my stepdad. And he just always wanted to continue to work with the wood as he retired. And during that time, after we moved and before obviously he passed, he had an opportunity to buy a bunch of tools that he didn't have that would give him the opportunity to work more in the fine woodworking, not just building a house, but doing fine woodworking. And sadly, never had an opportunity to use any of those tools. And so my passion is, and working with my sons, Adam and Ben, and with what Patrick and his family have done, is how to create a legacy and keep that passion going. And as I know from having recruited for many years in skilled trades, that when someone of that caliber leaves this earth, they take all of their skill sets with them. And there aren't enough younger people, or other people for that matter, to pick up, and it's not something you just do overnight. It's something that you have to either have a passion for, spend time with mentors, taking, whatever, but it's all really more of a hands-on training. And so with that said, I have worked with a company down in Holland and also with the Career Line Tech Center, and I've talked with other area businesses, and they all are saying we need people who can continue this trade of fine woodworking. And I don't know if any of you had been at Patrick's service. You may have noticed in the front of the church there was a box that my nephew made that is the burial box, but we decided we're not going to bury it just because it's so beautiful. So my nephew works for a company in Grand Rapids, and that's what he does. Is he's a craftsman, and he works for this company that makes high-end furniture for customers in Chicago. And knowing what he's able to do and how few people have that skill set or have that training or have that knowledge or that hands-on experience, that all of that is going to go away someday if we do not make a concerted effort to keep that training available, not just for young people at the tech center, but other people who may want to learn how to use certain tools. Maybe they inherited something from a grandparent, and it's like, well, he used to carve, but I have no idea how to use these, or he used to do this or that, or I just want it to be an opportunity for the community at large, so that they can help foster students of any age, for that matter, learn how to learn the fine woodworking, but also to help maintain it and grow it as a career. I had the opportunity the other day to run into one of the local builders that I know, and we got talking about this, and he's like, we don't have people that we want to go to, and there are customers who say, hey, I want a custom mantle, or I want custom bookcases or whatever. And one of our even our local businesses here in Ferrysburg, Dave Hagedis with A Lasting Impression, he can't find anybody to help him either. And so I see that as just a community as a whole on how we can help preserve that skill set, but also to grow it so that people can have that as a career as they move forward. So I just want to just kind of read a couple things, and this, by the way, is available to each of you. So if I could, when I'm finished, I'll hand one out to everyone here. But I'd just like to read this this last part here of this this letter that I have. As a skilled craftsman, Patrick learned his craft by working with his father, brothers, and professionals in the building industry, sometimes by trial and error, but always watching, reading, and learning. Not all students have the same opportunities Patrick had. He learned about wood, how to use the tools to create and to build. Hence, the intention of this scholarship will be to provide a path and a chance to enrich students' lives in various areas of fine finishing and customized building trades as a solid career. As the people with this talent with life-honed, tried and true experience and knowledge in the fine finishing and customized building trades passes away, as in Patrick's case, there's an increasing void. It is therefore our responsibility to develop, honor, appreciate, and perpetuate the work done by calloused hands so that creative problem-solving, craftsmanship, and skilled trades remains a viable career path, creating legacies. With the help of several area individuals and businesses, the Career Line Tech Center, as I had mentioned, and others, we have established this fund through the Grand Haven Area Community Foundation. And up to this point, it is considered a memorial. However, my goal is that it increases up to $25,000. At $25,000, then it becomes a scholarship. And so with the hope and the help of other community members, city councils, other community residents, wherever they may reside, if the goal is, like I say, to get to the $25,000 so we can consider that a scholarship. Otherwise, it's a memorial, which there's some differences with the Community Foundation on what's one thing versus the other. And then in closing, I would just want to say that the mission statement for this effort is to inspire and enrich students' lives by opening doors and making known to them the beauty, uniqueness, personal satisfaction gained, and timelessness of fine finishing hand craftsmanship. So with that said, I do have an envelope for each of you that would go directly to the Community Foundation. Sometimes just writing a check is a better option for others. So, have any questions about any of that, and you'd like to reach out to me? Scott's got my number.
Yep. Okay.
Fred's got my number.
Does anybody have any questions for Bobby, first of all? Okay, and then, so we thought it was a good idea to discuss this. We haven't talked about any kind of monies, but it looks like there was a determination by the city attorney, said that, yes, it looks like it's on council's decision. Yes, come on up.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Hatt, PO Box 85, City of Ferrysburg, 49409. I'm here, Bobby had reached out to me because working with Ottawa County ISD, having collaborations with different people in different places. With that collaboration, we were able to get Bobby connected up with the business in Holland and also with the members of the Career Line Tech Center who help establish the scholarships and initiate who and what students in the whole process that way. So Bobby has had that opportunity to meet with the people and meet with Randy and Ed out of St. Tawani's down in Holland that does customized woodworking. And those two gentlemen also sit on our advisory board for our class. So it's a pretty phenomenal opportunity. looking at information that was available to the public from the city, the city attorney, Brooke has written in here, and it says, given the need of skilled trades, if the scholarship fund provided opportunities to increase the pool of skilled workers, one should argue it would provide a public benefit. And I know that that's one of the measures that council will need to be looking at tonight, is it for the betterment of the whole of the city, the whole of the community. And if you're working through the Career Line Tech Center, we have over 15 schools from Ottawa County, private and public, and also Allegan County has Hamilton and Saugatuck students that also attend too. So it's a wide variety of students that attend, but also looking at the opportunity of servicing some of the smaller businesses in that too in the community. I hope that council will look at and hopefully support this amazing opportunity, because Pat did serve on council with us and had been a very active member of the community. And in addition to that, after a 2-year break, the Smiths Bayou Chili Cook-Off is coming back August 20, and all the proceeds from this event will be donated to the scholarship.
Thank you. Okay, discussion on this,
Your Honor? Oh, no.
I have a quick question. What will this scholarship look like? I mean, is this college scholarship, or explain that a little more? I'm an electrician by trade, master electrician, so I understand how skills and knowledge get lost through generations. I mean, the gentleman who trained me was 60, I was 20, so and the gentleman who trained him was, probably deceased by the time, so that knowledge keeps passing forward and forward, and it's important. And it's hard to find kids today that want to go into skilled trades. Everybody wants to sit behind a desk and make an easy buck, and skilled trades are usually a little more labor intensive, so sometimes it's hard, but there is a lot of interest out there, amongst young kids that want to get in this trade but don't know how, and don't know how to get a start in it. And I think this will be a good opportunity for them. Especially fine woodworking. It's hard to find somebody that knows how to do fine cabinetry and furniture making anymore. Everything is pegs and paste and chipboard, and so
Add something?
Yes, Your Honor. I think that most of us could agree that since the Schwab family would not benefit from have no financial gain from this, the benefit would be other places, but not financial gain. But the gain would be definitely to the community as a whole. I think I'd like to see, I think we all kind of agree on that.
Sure.
Greg, I think this is a great cause. I guess my concern is what our city attorney said. Does it make a difference that this is not a scholarship yet?
I think the money is gonna be used for the purpose of benefiting someone to get into skilled trades, so I think we would still qualify.
Even as a memorial?
If it's gonna be used to benefit others, it's not going towards the family, I would say yes.
Okay.
The way I read that, what the attorney's opinion was that whoever makes the motion should probably include public benefit in the motion, correct? Yeah.
Okay.
That was my next part.
Oh, okay.
If we're agreed that benefit the community as a whole, then I'd like to make it.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to give $5,000 to the J. Patrick Memorial Fund to help establish the J. Patrick Memorial Endowment Fund, which would help them to complete their mission statement of benefiting the community by creating, enabling craftsmen to go out, learn the trade, and benefit their fellow citizens.
Motion support. Yes. Discussion.
Now, the general fund, where will we take this?
The general fund, yes.
There, I mean, it's not gonna put us in any kind of pinch.
No, the budget's tracking on track right now. Just as a side note, the last time city council did make a donation to the public benefit was for the catwalk. And that was in 2017, and that was a $500 donation.
Yes.
500 is what I was thinking. One less zero.
We've had a lot of discussions at this table about cutting city services in the past. Since I've joined 2 years ago or 2.5 years ago, I would be more inclined to 500.
Okay.
I was kinda thinking more like 2,500 personally, 10% their scholarship needs.
I would be
2,500?
I would be willing to amend my motion to 500. If it was up to me, I'd give you a little 25,000.
Ooh.
But no, I'd be willing to amend it to the 25. I think this is a very important.
Your Honor.
Debbie?
In the past, city councils have done $500 for scholarships. Mr. Twile was a council member. I could see a little bit more based on his position with the city and what he contributed to the city. So.
Well, if Your Honor, if we were to go out and to establish some type of memorial, such as a plaque or something of that nature, we could easily spend $2,500 to $3,000, $5,000 on a memorial. And he did do a lot for the city. He was a council member. He did contribute through the Habitat for Humanity and the other areas. So I think as a member of this council and recognition for his years of service to the city, I think that 500 is nice, but I think that in this case, I think we could make an exception for.
Okay, Bill, any thoughts?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Ooh.
Anybody who owns a tangible asset knows the value of someone who can work on, maintain, and improve that asset, whether it be your car or your house or whatever. And people who know how to do that are becoming more and more increasingly rare. So I would support any amount that we can possibly give to this memorial or the scholarship to help these trades, to help people who want to work with their hands and help other people. So I would support any amount that the council supports to make this happen.
We could do without hurting us.
The budget is tracking very nicely. Staff has done a great job of keeping expenses under control. I would say anywhere 1,500 or 2,000.
Okay,
Your Honor,
yes.
which 1,500 or 2,000 would be 3 or 4 times our normal amount. And we all have to be mindful that we're spending tax dollars. And I certainly wholeheartedly agree with Councilmember Kate that it's a worthy cause, and that Patrick's legacy is certainly worthy of contributing to. I just question the amount and whether we're doing the taxpayers
Well,
Yes.
I think it could be argued that the return on this, because this is a donation that would be used for a long time, okay? That it could come back and pay the city back in multiple ways. Just the building of a new Habitat for Humanity home, or something along that nature. That the benefits that we receive from someone of this, any of the skilled trades are very greatly needed. But the buildings, the craftsmen, I think we would get this money back in other ways.
Your Honor.
Yes.
Once again, I wholeheartedly agree with what you're saying. The city is not a benevolent organization. We are spending tax dollars. And so just be mindful of that when we're going to potentially be, what's on the table is 500, 1,000, 1,500, up to 2 that the city manager is suggesting, or the initial 5,000. Just be mindful, it's tax dollars.
I would, I agree with Councilman Carlson. I think we've given 500 to other organizations in the past. I think it would be appropriate to give 500 again. But I do think it's a great fund, and I will commit to personally donating, and I hope you guys will too.
Okay,
Your Honor,
yes.
in addition to the 500 that is kind of traditional, could we make this part of our city website, our city communications, to members, to residents of Ferrysburg to donate to this cause, in addition to what we as a city or council decide to do?
Good question.
Would there be anything wrong with using the city website to publicize this and ask for people to donate to this?
Issue might be an issue in the future because someone else might want to sit there and use the city's website to ask to have something on our website to donate to a certain cause. So there'd be setting precedents.
I'm just spitballing there.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's see here. Okay. How about the happy medium Tim, why don't we do, let's go for 1,500. And let's take a vote on that. And can you amend your motion for 1,500?
Well, one of the rare times where I'm gonna have to disagree with you, I'm gonna go for the 2,000.
Okay.
I am aware this is tax dollar money. But I think the cause is well worth the expenditure. And I'm the first one to be a penny pincher up here, but when I see something of this nature, I think the residents of the city, the benefits far outweigh the cost. And I think most of the residents would agree with this particular.
Okay, so you want to amend your motion to 2,000?
I would like to, I will amend my motion to contribute $2,000 to the J. Patrick Memorial Fund.
Supported it in the first time.
Will?
Do you guys remember? The first one? No, who did the first one? You did? Okay. Okay. So your support? Tim's amendment, okay. Okay, do you guys wanna do a all in favor, or you wanna do a roll call on this one? Okay. All right, the motion is for $2,000, support $2,000 for the J. Patrick Twa Scholarship Fund.
Councilmember Sias,
Yay.
Councilmember Carlson,
Nay.
Councilmember Murdoch, Councilmember Montgomery,
No.
Councilmember O'Donnell,
Yes.
Councilmember Kate,
Yes.
Mayor Blease.
Yes.
Okay, we have 4 yeas, 3 nays.
Okay, motion carried. Moving on. Item 7G. Discussion to take appropriate action to permit, I amended that to all city council members to use the city logo on their social media page. When we brought this up a while ago, Craig sent some emails to our city attorney, Brooke, and it looks like he recommended not to change the policy. So the policy says in N, using images of any official city logo, patch, badge, or sign on personal web pages is prohibited without the express written approval of city council or designee. So we're the city council. So any discussion on this before we?
Your Honor?
Yes.
I'll just make a motion to approve the use of the city logo on the social media page.
Your Honor, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
A motion.
I'll support.
Okay, motion and support. Okay, now discussion.
Do we need an additional, whether it's amended or an additional vote to identify ourselves as elected government officials, represent the city of Ferrysburg?
That's what this would be.
So-
You're a council member, Ferrysburg City Council member using the logo.
Using our logo and saying, I am council member
Correct.
William Montgomery.
Correct.
I represent the city of Ferrysburg. Or I'm a elected official of the city of Ferrysburg.
Right, not speaking for city council.
Correct.
Yep, correct.
Okay.
Correct? You guys have any other thoughts or ideas or discussions on this? I mean, my thought was, yeah, I wanted to post a picture on, let's say, my personal Facebook page of myself with the city logo in the background. I didn't think there was anything wrong with that. Or Instagram or other social media outlets outside, even with the city logo, you know? So I think it's something that, you know, is, yeah, very, you know, yeah, supportive. I would support that, so. You guys have any other questions? I mean.
Your Honor?
Yeah.
A couple of meetings ago, Councilmember Carlson mentioned one of the council members over at Grand Haven using Facebook as a means, and I found his website on Grand Haven Informed.
Oh.
And all he's doing is what I want to do, is to present, as we get agendas, share things that the public might be interested in. I mean, we come here and we look at all these empty seats. Wouldn't it be nice to have some public interaction? And that's my sole goal, is to try to generate some interest in what we do as a city council.
Agreed.
Yeah, okay. Any other discussions? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passed. Oh, yes.
I'd like to thank Montgomery for his work in it, find this situation. I know, for a year now we've been dealing with it, so. I did have a Facebook page of my own before yours was brought to attention, and I brought it down, so I was not aware of the policy before either, so, I'm glad that we got this cleared up.
I appreciate everyone on council for just being open to this. I know it was shot down pretty quick last time, and just, staying open-minded and doing whatever we can to communicate with our residents, I think is very important. So, thank you all.
Sure. Okay. Moving on, 7H. Discussion and take action, if appropriate, to appoint Regina Schoberg to the Planning Commission for a term ending July 1st, 2024.
Your Honor,
Yes.
I serve as the city council representative to the planning commission, and we voted unanimously that we would like to have Regina on the planning commission, so I move that we accept the planning commission recommendation for Regina Schoberg on planning commission.
I'll support.
We have a motion and support. Now for further discussion.
Your Honor?
Yes.
In an article in the Grand Haven Tribune on February 5th of this year, 2022, Ms. Schoberg is quoted as saying that she believes that Ferrysburg is a bedroom community and should stay that way. I believe that is in direct opposition to what we have been called to do on the Economic Development Task Force, and that is seek ways to add to and increase the economic base of our community. And by keeping us as strictly a bedroom or commuter community is in opposition to that. So I would not support her nomination to the committee.
Okay. Further discussion?
Commission, I'm sorry.
Yes.
I agree, but
I mean, we're never gonna get any more business. We've lost business. We lost the Pizza Hut. So I don't see that as a problem for Regina. She's very faithful to Ferrysburg.
Yes.
I believe the same as been on the council.
Okay. Further discussion?
I'll just say that, I agree with Councilmember Kate in that it's important that we are pushing forth with our economic development task force. But I think that as a community, it's important that we bring together boards and commissions that have diverse views also. And I think she brings some of that diversity to our board, so I would support it.
Yes.
The planning commission, it can be rightly said, is the probably the most important and influential board that we have of non-elected officials, because not only do they affect the city as a whole, they affect the decisions they make can affect every citizen of this city. And a person who is appointed must be able to listen to all sides of an issue and make a decision based on facts and not feelings or personal goals. They have to be have integrity, communicate with everyone involved is essential. Training and participation in all meetings is essential. Transportation and honesty is very essential to being a good commissioner. The candidate has, while a member of being a special interest group and lobbying for a ballot initiative alone is not a disqualifying act in and of itself. Being part of a special interest group and lobbying for a ballot initiative while being an elected official is. Regina, by her own statement while running as mayor, admitted that she was one of the instrumental people that helped to get the FNP, a special interest group ballot initiative, passed while she was on city council. That was a violation of both the city's code of conduct and state law. An elected official may not lobby for or against a ballot initiative. At a public meeting required by the city code of conduct, she was informed of this violation and continued to violate the law. Regina has a history of not only blocking, but ceasing and not listening to anyone who has opposing points of view. It shows a lack of communication and transparency, and this is a continued when she was running for mayor. She did this on city council and when she was running for mayor. She was appointed to the MPO board to represent the city and stated that while her work schedule would not allow her to attend, she does want to take credit for getting money from the MPO for the west section of North Shore. She never asked to have anyone else appointed for her place, and she wanted to take credit where credit was not due. She did not do the work. There was no effort on her part to get funding for the bridge, but she said she did. To me, that shows just dishonesty. She continues to defend her past actions and refuses to change. Communication, honesty, integrity, transparency, participation, and training has to be an integral part of being on a commission. She has not met those standards as far as I'm concerned, to the point, and I cannot and will not support her appointment to the Planning Commission. And I have, in all the years on council, I have never had as many people contact me asking me to not appoint her to the board. Over 21 appointments, and I've never had any, the number of communiques I've got via email or personal contacts requesting that she not be approved for this position.
Your Honor.
Yes.
Craig, how many letters have we received at City Hall regarding this?
0.
You did send one to us. Oh, it came directly? Okay, very good. I'm sorry. Okay, something was sent to City Council by a prior board member. So nothing, no citizen letters at all?
Correct.
Okay.
Your Honor,
Yes.
Craig, when the election council member O'Donnell was speaking up, when that occurred, did our city attorney look into the validity of Ferrysburg Nature Preserve being a special interest group?
I do not recall. I would have to double check my notes so to make sure.
I don't believe it was considered a special interest group.
I definitely. I was, Your Honor.
Yes.
Before I was on City Council, that topic is, and the cantankerousness on City Council is what made me run for City Council in the first place and get involved in this. The Friends of the Ferrysburg Nature Preserve was just a group in name only. We had no legal entity or anything like that.
even if it was not a special interest, she still lobbied for the initiative, which is a violation of state law. And continued to do so even after it was pointed out that it was a violation of state law. And still to this day defends that action. I don't see where, if with the importance of someone coming to the planning commission that wants something that needs something to be established, and it's contrary to her point of view, where they would get a fair process where she would do that. She has indicated multiple times that she does not care to listen to people that are having opposing point of views.
Connor, do we have other candidates for this position? Or Craig? Craig, when's the last time we turned down a candidate when we had an open seat and there was no other candidates?
I don't recall that ever happening.
So we have a citizen that's interested. We have an open position and no one else that's interested in participating. Our planning commission supports it unanimously, so I would support it based on those facts.
Your Honor?
Yes.
I'd like to point out that they do at this point have a quorum on the planning commission, so it would not be detrimental to leave that position open at this time. Does not have to be appointed at this time. And I would like to see if we could perhaps advertise and get maybe someone else that might be interested in. Look at other qualifications for this.
So, Your Honor, I just want to point out that, you know, one of our goals is, as a council, we've determined is to fill these positions, right? And we need to continue encouraging. I wholeheartedly agree with Tim that we need to be advertising these positions to our residents and encouraging participation. I don't agree that we start doing it because someone we don't agree with applies for a spot.
I'm not looking at the person.
Your Honor,
Yes.
I placed a motion on the floor and it's got support.
Yes.
At what point are we gonna call discussions to close?
Okay.
Whether you agree with Regina or you don't agree with Regina, whether you think this is a bedroom community or not a bedroom community, what's important is that Regina is one voice on the commission, and we need to hear everyone's voice. Whether you agree with her opinions or not, she has the right to voice her opinions, and it's important that we have opposition in every commission so that we look in detail to every situation that comes across the desk of the commissions. It's not, we don't need just people that are, okay, push it along, push it along. We need people that are gonna stand up and ask questions and make sure that this is best for our city. And, you know, as far as economic development is concerned, I don't think Regina has any opposition to bring in jobs in the economic birth of the city. And if that's why you're thinking maybe she wouldn't be a good member of this commission, then I ask that you rethink your position. That's all I got.
Just one last thing, Your Honor.
Yes.
Okay. In response to last year, I have no problem with someone with opposing point of views. You know, that's what we have on city council. It is that the person's lack of willingness to listen to people with opposing points of view and not communicating with them and blocking them out because they have an opposing point of view. Not her having an opposing point of view to somebody, but not listening to that. We got to get the best qualified people in that position. If this was perhaps one of the other commissions, it might be different. Planning commission has far-reaching, multiple-year. They make a lot of very impactful decisions. That's what I was.
Okay, so I'm gonna add my 2 cents in. I agree with quite a few things that Mr. Kate said and Mr. O'Donnell. I've been on city council and now mayor about probably now 8.5 years. And this has been the first time that I've had some discussions with residents that are opposing someone for commissioner board. So that does make me very nervous in supporting somebody. So why, you know, all my 8.5 years, all these boards, committees, I've never had any other citizen approach me to say they did not agree with a candidate. Now all of a sudden it's happening. So that makes me very, very nervous in appointing somebody that the public has came to me. They've come to Tim. We've got a letter that was sent in from Mr. Bryant opposing a citizen for a committee and a board. I've got a call from a business owner that they do not want to support her for the planning committee also. So I'm just saying it makes me very, very nervous to, you know, appoint somebody to a committee. You know, we've really never had, even the most recent, like 5 years, all the other committees and boards, I think they've all been majority. Seven support, 0 not support. So I'm just saying it makes me very nervous to have somebody on a board or committee that is getting, you know, not support from the citizens.
I'd like to add one more thing, if I may. I don't know exactly the year. When did we elect a brownfield in Ferrysburg? Remember what year that was, Craig?
It was early 2000s.
2000s, yeah. During that brownfield fiasco, I had an issue with it because my house is right smack dab in the middle of the brownfield. And during that time, I opposed it. I came to city council and I spoke out against it. And after that, I applied to the planning commission. And I won't speak of who was on the commission at the time, but my commission was denied because I spoke out against what the city council wanted to do in Ferrysburg. And now I feel that the same thing is happening again. And you ask if anybody's ever been declined from a commission? Yes, me. And am I a problem on this council? No. Do I stand in the way of things? No. But just because of the way that I was looked at, because I was a rabble-rouser, whatever they call it, they wanted nothing to do with me. I was voted 7-0, decline, no.
Oh, did not know that.
And I will not allow that to happen again here tonight. That's all I got to say.
Okay. Yep. Further discussion is over. Could we have a roll call? We have a motion and support on the table.
Councilmember Carlson,
Yay.
Councilmember Murdoch, Councilmember Montgomery,
Yes.
Councilmember O'Donnell,
No.
Councilmember Kate,
Yes.
Councilmember Sias,
Yes.
Mayor Blease,
No.
5-2.
Motion passed. Okay, moving on. Work session. 7I, coronavirus state and local relief funds. Craig, you got an update for us on this?
So there was some information in your packet about the relief funds that the city is going to receive, about $316,000. The city has until 2024 to obligate the dollars, and by 2026 to spend all the money. So in your packet was an overview of the final rule, which becomes effective April 1st. We're beginning to work on the budget for 22-23. We want to get some feedback from city council on your thoughts on what the use of the funds could be used for. To start the conversation, we did put a couple suggestions in the packet, replacing the water meters with the cellular meters. As part of that project, there would be a company would come in and change all the meters out, and we would do the cross connection program at that same time. The seawall at William Ferry Park a couple of years ago, when the water was high, it deteriorated the wall, It's a wood wall, it needs to be replaced, and estimated cost is about $300,000 for that. And then, Fire Barn Park, the Recreation Commission is working on a grant application for a trust fund to do some improvements out there. In the current budget, we got about $125,000 for a grant match. You are able to use these funds for our parks, so if you want to increase the grant match to the Fire Barn Park, some of those funds can be used for that. Over the weekend, I was kind of thinking too about these funds, and there's a permanent restroom at Coast Guard Park by the entrance. Down by the pavilion, we just don't have a restroom. We put a porta john out there. It's always been a thought on staff to someday put a permanent restroom on the east end of that park as well.
Better?
Yes.
Craig, give thanks to the city staff for giving the suggestions. Any of these match up well with our city goals, our adopted city goals?
I think infrastructure is always one of city council's goals to maintain it and keep it looking good for the public. That park, the Seawall is at a park, a public park. You know, it does get used by the public. There was a sinkhole there where the water was washing out. The guys at the Public Works Department has been working to keep that hole filled. So it's one of these days it's going to be a real safety issue out there if we don't get that seawall fixed.
Your Honor. Craig, if I can continue with you. Quick question about the water meters. Is that water meter replacement, I know we in council have discussed that in the past. Is that already budgeted in our present water budget, water fund budget?
Replacing the water meters?
Yes.
No, it's not.
I'm trying to think of why we discussed it previously.
Last year, we had a proposal from the city council for the cross connection for a company to come in and do that.
Yeah.
And that was tabled, and city council asked staff to try to get a hold of legislators to see if they'd be willing to change it because the cost benefit of doing that. And, you know, the state is pushing this, that they're not going to back off on it. They're going to require it. And your packet over the weekend, you saw some material from Eagle kind of pointing it out to us that we need to get moving on that program. So if we don't do the water meters, we're going to bring that council to that proposal back to city council to look at it one more time for the cross connection program.
But would this take, with what Matt is suggesting here, does that have anything to do with the cross connection program?
We would incorporate it at the same time, yes.
Craig, do you know the cost to replace water meters, $350,000, but what do you think? Do you have any idea of how much staff time that could be saved? Well, DPW from physically going out to read the meters, right?
That's not a high priority item from staff is the water meters.
Okay.
Currently, we have radio read right now where the guys get in the truck and they can read the whole city.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Read the whole city in a day. We do have some annual reads that where the guys have to go into certain buildings and read the meters.
So it could save a little labor time, but not a lot, you're thinking?
That's correct, yeah. Yeah, they get them done in one day, don't they?
Okay.
It's bad. It's washing out underneath and causing the sinkhole. Right, it's expensive to, yeah.
That, is some of that Corps of Engineer, though, responsibility, the seawall?
No, that's a city. It's a city park. The city installed that in
Because it's a city
1980.
park and we own it.
Yeah. On the next item on the agenda also just is Kayak Launch. There's always been thought about doing a kayak launch at William Ferry Park because there is parking there.
Right.
That might be something we can maybe incorporate both projects into one.
Yeah, maybe we could. But I do like the Fire Barn Park yet too, though, because maybe we could use some of those funds to help get match
And I will
for
just point
Community
out,
Foundation.
I will just point out that that is one of our goals is ADA compliance at our parks. And, you know, we built this beautiful play structure at Ferrysburg Park, but really not ADA anything, right? And that's part of our goals is to bring that up to ADA and make it available to people of all abilities. And it's a major safety issue right now with that bike path crossing in front of the fire garage doors. You know, God forbid there's an emergency. But rerouting that bike path is pretty critical and was identified early on by the fire chief when we started redeveloping that park. So any match for that, you know, any additional money we can put towards it to help increase our match will help us get funding from grants.
We'd probably have to close the park, and we'd probably be instructed by the state to get it repaired as soon as possible.
We could split up between a little bit for Fire Barn Park to reroute the bike path and Seawall Kayak Launch potentially. With
That's
some money
correct.
from city council as well for the Seawall.
That's correct. You know, we are working on the budget upcoming, so, you know, if city council wants to direct staff to try to put some extra money towards the grant from the next budget and do the seawall, we can do that.
Craig, do we have any numbers yet as to what it's gonna take to reroute the bike path around the backside of Fairburn Park there in the building?
The Recreation Commission has a grant application draft, and there's 3 items that they want to do is reroute the pedestrian path, do the infrastructure in the park and the parking lot, and that cost is $320,000. And then at the last Recreation Commission meeting, you get so many points for how much match you get. And so 40 to 49%, you would get 10 extra points. If you got up to 50% match, you would get 15 points. You get an extra 5 points if we got up to that. Probably 150 to 160,000. So if we got 125,000 in there now, we might be able to put some money, another 25,000 toward that for the next budget. The Recreation Commission is working on fundraising, so we might be able to get that 50% match with the next budget.
Stuff ain't cheap. Okay, well, this is just some good information. Any more discussion on the COVID relief funds?
Craig, did we have any major expenditures during the COVID pandemic that was not expected, such as additional expenses?
Nothing major. We bought some PPE stuff for staff and stuff like that, but nothing major. We were very fortunate. The city did, if someone did have COVID, they didn't have to take sick leave. We would give them 80 hours. And there was a couple employees that were able to use that, but it wasn't a major expense to the city.
The other thing I know we've got some very expensive road repairs coming up. And I know this year we're online to have we're supposed to get a nice chunk of change coming back, revenue coming back from the state. If the budget passes, so we'll have a little more money to spend on it, but I think we need to also look at if we can put some money towards one of our road repairs. I know Dogwood and 168 definitely have to be repaired. That's something to take into consideration. The seawall, that's important, but I'm wondering if we can get grants for that.
We've kind of looked around. We haven't found anything yet. Dogwood Drive, you know, that's coming up here this summer. We did get some COVID funds for that, probably about $200,000 extra from from COVID funds for that project. So the $1.1 million will probably get $628,000 for that project. Last year, the voters approved the street millage, and that will take effect, be levied this year. We're working on bringing a proposal to city council for some engineering work to do a couple streets in the city with that money.
I've also seen that have you checked with the DNR as far as getting their grants available for improvement to the parks? That is a park. I know they've got lots of money and they're looking for projects.
For the grants on parks, typically they want to fund new improvements or acquisition. They really don't fund repairs.
Okay,
So is council want to lean us one way or another on any of these? Or want to think about it and bring it back to another meeting?
what are you guys thinking? Seawall is a kind of a priority and then a little bit for Fire Barn Park?
I think that the fire barn, or not fire barn, the seawall, the sooner we get that repaired, the better. It's gonna cost us a lot less. Save a dime now, or spend $1 now to save $100 later.
Your Honor,
Yes.
quick question about, William Ferry Park is where the seawall is collapsing, correct?
Correct.
Is there any liability on anyone else because that's a containment area or a hazardous area where the ground is eroding into the water?
The guys have been keeping it filled, so it's not a safety issue at this time. They expect it every day, though.
Right, but that is a hazardous area, correct? I mean, they check it. Was there a spill there or?
Oh, there was contamination in the park, you mean?
Yeah,
That was from the gas station across the street, so there's monitoring wells in the park.
right, but now that contaminated land is going into the river or eroding into the river.
I don't think it's eroding into the
No.
river right now.
Okay.
It's just kind of washed out and they filled it up.
Thinking of funds available for
Well,
contaminated area?
that's what I'm wondering, yeah.
Brownfield?
I mean, that water is or that land is sinking into something,
Hmm.
right?
Now that the contaminated groundwater, or the contaminated ground over there, is actually a very small footprint. That was resolved years ago. They're just, my understanding is right now they're just using monitors to continue.
Well, there is traces of contamination. There's monitoring it so it doesn't flow towards the lake.
Honor. So Craig, just to clarify, we're about $50,000 shy to get to a 50% of the cost for Fire Barn Park
For the first phase.
for the first phase.
So
Okay.
the total project cost is over $1 million.
Right.
And so we're thinking that we'll probably do 2-phase grant applications.
I could see supporting, Your Honor, I could see supporting in using these funds to get us up to the 50% amount, and then the balance going into the Seawall kayak, and then chasing additional funds for that.
Okay.
Your Honor, I think that'd be very beneficial for the rec commission only because this first phase, like Craig said, we're fundraising and we have a very dedicated team fundraising, but this first phase being a parking lot and moving the bike path is not as exciting as future as future phases.
Of course not.
But it's the infrastructure that has to get done in order to move.
And it's a safety issue.
In order to move
It's
to
a
those
big
phases,
safety
and it's a big safety issue. It's a big ADA issue. Now we're going to have parking that is handicap accessible. I think it's the right thing to do.
Okay, and it kind of goes into we'll just move on to J, Kayak Launch. Now, I did have a question, Craig, on these, because you put some information in here from some old, estimates, cost estimates, but they're 2013, 2014. So I guess, yeah, maybe that could kind of tie into if we have to rebuild or, you know, fix, repair the seawall, how about if we can incorporate a kayak launch there at William Ferry Park? I mean, there's a map in here. The only other place that I've ever used is at the end of Doric, which is just a drop off. There's no parking right there. You have to go down to Sunnyside Park and then park down there, then just walk around the corner. So really, this is kind of, kayak launch might be the only viable option is William Ferry Park, really. What do you guys think of other
I think
areas?
If we were to perhaps include the kayak launch with the Seawall project, we might be able to get a grant from the DNR, because that would be an improvement or an upgrade.
Right. Yep.
And it benefits the city, benefits everybody.
Craig, you know how many feet of footage is there on Grand River, William Ferry Park?
Seawall is about 300 feet.
Ooh. Okay.
DNR's not gonna give us a grant for $300,000 for a $10,000.
No, but they give us something. If they gave us $100, that'd be $100 we're not paying.
Hmm.
Steel or vinyl? Vinyl? Oh, no.
Yeah. Okay. What do you guys, any other comments on the kayak?
The only,
Spots.
only other spot I could think of for kayak launch would be the end of Fifth Street, next to Johnson Boilers there, the dead end.
Oh,
We
okay.
let barges park there now or use that area there, but there'd be plenty of parking, and it's not a high cliff. It's almost a beach into the water there. So
Oh, okay. 4th Street. 4th
is it
Street end.
4th Street?
Yep.
Okay, excuse me. Yeah, 4th Street.
Yep.
That would be another place to consider. Yeah, but, if we're gonna
Yeah.
do the seawall at Ferry Park, we might as well implement the kayak launch there. We could do it all at once, and then
Yeah.
build it right into the seawall.
Right, correct. Yeah.
Which would probably make most sense.
Yeah, yeah, because if we can do a vinyl kayak launch with a couple little steps and handrails and accessible and all that, then, but yeah, we might have some more opportunities for some kind of grants or monies available. So, any other thoughts? Okay, let's go down. Number 8, public comments. Oh, Sandy? Yeah? Oh,
Hi, Sandy Tuggle, 17939 Dogwood. I was listening on YouTube earlier, and my first comment is I know you guys are working on communications with residents, and I would love to see another work session on the microphones. It would be incredible to have a little bit better, use or microphones that maybe work a little better. I know there was a quote from a while back that was some huge number, but maybe we could revisit that again, because if somebody is leaning back, which happens a lot, it's completely silent, so you can't even hear a little bit of it. So I'm hoping that you guys can bring that up in the future. The other thing I just wanted to mention, I was listening earlier and heard, some of the discussion about our ballot proposal that we did several years ago. And just for the record, for some of the newer council members, I was a part of that. It was a citizen-led initiative. And what we did was we asked City Council, sometimes this room would be full of 90, 100 people, and we asked City Council repeatedly to follow the original intent of our city charter, where it would require a vote of the residents in order to sell a park. And there was a pretty tight majority that was refusing to do that. So what we did was we researched the Michigan law, and we did what was called a citizen-led ballot proposal. And we went around, we collected signatures to go over the heads of City Council and get that on the ballot. So we did that successfully. We campaigned for it, and we actually won that proposal by 81%. So I think that that was a huge thing. And, you know, to be repeatedly called a special interest group, I think the record itself would show just the opposite, because that was a huge win by the residents by 81%. So I just want to get that on the record. Thank you.
Okay, any more public comment? Tribune? Okay. Number 9, report city manager.
No report?
City council members. Bill on the end.
The meeting of the Economic Development Task Force was canceled this month because of so many people not being able to attend, so no report.
Okay. Will?
Yeah, Rec Commission meeting last week. We have an outstanding team on the Recreation Commission, and they're all very passionate about our parks and preserving and improving our parks. So a lot of hard work there. We have the fundraiser through the Grand Haven Area Community Foundation, so you're able to donate to Fire Barn Park. Ferrysburg Fire Barn Park on their website. We have brought in some donations already. We're working on how to recognize those donors as we increase our fundraising and prioritize our phase 1 of improving that park. There's a NORA meeting this week that I will attend. And other than that, you know, I will just reiterate and do a little plug and call for action on the Patrick Twain Memorial Fund. I do, regardless of my vote, I think it's a good cause, and I would hope that you know, everybody that volunteered to commit tax dollars is also willing to commit something, you know, of their own, and I am happy to commit to that. I think it's a great cause, and we do need more skilled workers. So just a call to action for the rest of you as you go home tonight and think about that.
Okay, Rich?
No report.
Tim?
Councilmember Montgomery, just let you know that I do have a check sitting on my desk at home that will be going in the envelope to the. I forgot to bring it with me tonight, give to her personally. So, and yes, I support that. Also, Sandy, you are on the planning commission, correct? I'd like to thank you for your service on the commission, and I understand you're attending the trainings and going through all that. So, thank you very much for that. I will be attending the MML's Infrastructure, Transportation, and Information Technologies Committee meeting in Lansing on the 3rd of March. So I'll might have some more information on the next meeting. End of report.
Gary?
No report.
Debbie? Oh. Okay. All right. I also contributed some money to the J. Patrick Twain Memorial Fund, Scholarship Fund, so encourage everybody that can do that. Go ahead. I've been appointed or elected vice chair of the MPO Policy Committee for a 1-year term. End of report.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Boom, boom.
Kind of long meeting. There's a lot to go through tonight.
Maybe you got more stuff for me to sign.